Hey folks, this is Mary. Welcome back to my channel. So we are up to day 9 of 30 Purple Ink's 30 days. So let's pick out our ink of the day. And today we have Robert Oster, Bishop to King. Oh, well, that's interesting. We just had a Robert Oster ink yesterday. So this is a sample. So let me go grab our sample. Alright, so here is our sample, and this came from Pen Chalet, and they put little colored dots on the top of their vials, and I always wonder how they make their dots. Is that an accurate dot? I always wonder, and usually when I get a sample, I put a little bit of the ink on top to compare it to make sure it's the right color. Not that I doubt Pen Chalet, but I just always wonder about these things. Let's see. And I do have to mention, even though I had some trouble with the Robert Oster Go-Go, it cleaned out of the pen so nicely. I mean, probably the easiest ink that I've cleaned out so far this month, so that is something in its favor. Alright, so just making sure that the pen is nice and dry. And let's load it up. Well, it always helps if you get the piston in the right position. Ooh. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, well, already that's a very nice looking purple. Okay. Okay. So just recap my sample, and let's make our swatch card. Alright, so here is our swatch card, and let's see. Make sure I get the name right. And that is Gus drinking water. Alright, Bishop to King. Now, I haven't looked into the meaning behind that name, but it sounds like something referring to chess. I don't know. But the color is a very royal kind of color, so I'm not sure where that comes from. And I keep capping my sample when I really don't need to, but one can never be too careful with open samples. Oh, that's interesting. This color is kind of, breaking. There's little areas where it didn't seem to cover. So that's interesting. This certainly seems to have a different consistency than the Go-Go did. And I did get a bit of a drip out of it, so that makes me happy. Well, that is really interesting. Okay, so we're going to put our sample aside to dry. And we're going to do a little bit of writing. All right, so let's take a little bit closer look. So this is the Exceed paper. And it certainly felt a bit more flowy than the Go-Go did. I still don't know if I would call it a wet ink, but it's less dry than Go-Go, and it seemed to flow out of the pen a little bit better. And I think there was a bit of shading on the broad nib. The broad nib certainly looks much darker, but that's interesting because the Go-Go in the broad nib looked lighter. So, I don't know, it's interesting how inks react that way. Alright, so here is a close-up of the Clairefontaine. And I think I actually see less shading on this broad nib than I did on the Exceed paper. And again, the broad nib looks much darker. And I didn't have any hard starts this time. I did have a hard start on the broad nib with the Go-Go. Let's see. Let's do our little calendar page. Alright, and here is today's tape. It's not purple today, it's turquoise. But it's a lovely floral one. And if anybody's interested, I believe I got this from Michael's out of the 33-cent bin. If any of you are familiar with Michael's and their clearance area, you'll know that they had washi tape in those bins for a very long time, and I bought many, many rolls of the 33-cent washi tape because I just couldn't help myself. Because I love a sale. And I love washi tape. So I was helpless against it. Alrighty. So, let me see. I'm pretty sure my Q-tip is not wet enough anymore, so I'm going to re-dip. And, ooh, very interesting. Yeah, it seems really watery. I don't know if you could see that on camera, but it was kind of flowing around the square. Like there was some interesting surface tension or something going on there. So we're going to set him aside to dry for a minute, and we're going to look at our swatch card. And it looks like the swatch card is still drying a little bit, but it's a nice, vivid purple, a little bit darker color. And there might be a hint of sheen coming out on it. So, let's see what other cards I have here. There's our friend Go-Go from yesterday. Oh, and I need to put that he's a sample on there too. I forgot the S. I think there was another one earlier, maybe the Sulfurino, that I forgot to put an S on there, just to help me keep track of them. Okay, so the Go-Go did turn out to be a really nice color. And it does have a bit of a halo around the darker area, but again, I need to try it out in some different pens because it just seems really dry. And I have a Faber-Castell Loom, and it just seems like such a gusher. I never use it because it's so wet. And I think it's a medium nib, but it's just such a wet writer. I really don't enjoy writing with it. So I might try the Go-Go in that pen and see if that pen and ink could go together a little bit better. Okay, so Gus was very upset about something, but he's better now. So, let's take a look at some inks. Here is Diamine Violet, which is looking much less saturated, more along the lines of Go-Go. They're different colors, but just their softness is about the same. And there's Private Reserve Tanzanite. He's kind of a blurple, I think. So, no. Let's see what else we got here. Here is Monteverde Amethyst. That's looking much closer. But again, I think this one is a little bit less saturated than the Bishop to King. Here is Colorverse Hayabusa with that gorgeous green sheen. Oh, I just love this ink so much. But closer, well, I don't know. This one I think is more saturated and it's a brighter purple. Here is Purple Mojo, and he's kind of darker. Let's see, who else do we have here? Here is Murasaki Shikibu, and I think that's a bit closer. Kind of that less saturated purple, but Bishop to King is darker. And there is Colorverse Delicious Sleep, and kind of a redder purple, I think. There is Haley's Comet. He's much lighter. What else do we have here? Here is Tasha Murasaki. Again, a redder purple than Bishop to King. So Bishop to King is leaning a little bit blue, I think. Just a bit. There's Ebony Purple. That's very dark. I'm sorry, Private Reserve Ebony Purple. And here is Mombado's Hat. Much redder. Let me see. Here is Noodler's La Couleur Royale. Much bluer, I would say, but a very pretty color. And here is Sherowite. Again, kind of like La Couleur Royale. Both very pretty colors. And here is Private Reserve DC Super Violet. I don't know. Those might be close, but it seems like Bishop to King is kind of unique from my other purples. And here's a Twisby Royal Purple, and he's definitely much redder. So yeah, I think somewhere between these two. They're pretty close to each other. Now I'm looking at it on the camera and they're all looking much bluer than they look to me. In person they're looking really purple, like a purple grape. But this is kind of a brighter color, and this one is a softer color, and this one is darker and a bit bluer. So I think these two might be our closest match there, but again, not a good match. Just about the closest that I have. It's so interesting that there are so many purples out there, my goodness. And I've been experimenting with the blues, and I've got 100 different blues, but I should have known there were that many purples out there as well. Alright, so let us reveal our calendar page. Let's see, and that has dried nice and dark. And I will pull very slowly to make sure that I don't take any of the paper with the tape. Alright. So that is looking lovely. And I would say that it's pretty close to DC Super Violet, but I don't know, not the same, just close. Okay, so this is Robert, I'm going to try to squeeze the whole name in this time, Robert Oster, Bishop to King. Alright, so I think that will do it for today. And let's take a look at our swatch card again. And our pen, and I think that'll do it for this video. So I hope you have enjoyed the video, and I hope you are enjoying your pens and inks today, and hopefully I will see you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.